All right, so we're diving into Deceitful Love today. This Netflix series seems to have everyone talking, and you guys have been asking for it, and we went deep. We've got reviews, plot summaries, even a reaction video. We're going to figure out what makes this show tick.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, right?
Right, so let's start with the basics, the setup. We've got Gabriella, successful hotel owner in her 60s, living the good life of the Amalfi Coast, beautiful scenery. Then enter Elia, much younger, and he just sweeps her off her feet.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, we've got this age gap, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of the sources immediately point that out. Some say it initially feels like, one of those classic Harlequin romance novels.
Right, right. But when you look closer, it's clear that Deceitful Love is going for something a bit more layered, more complex.
Exactly. Like one review even called it surprisingly thought-provoking.
Yeah. And that's where I think the reaction video really adds something. It digs into Gabriella as a character. It shows how this whole unexpected romance really awakens something in her.
It's not just about finding a new love, is it? It feels like it's more about her challenging these societal expectations. Like, what's a woman her age supposed to want? How's she supposed to act?
Exactly. And then, of course, you've got the family drama. Her son, Stefano, he is completely against this relationship. Thinks Elia is just a gold digger after her money.
Oh, so it's getting messy already.
Oh, yeah. The reaction video even pointed out some specific parts where, like, Stefano tries to get the law involved, saying Gabriella is being taken advantage of.
Whoa. Makes you wonder, though, is he really worried about his mom? Or is it more about, control, like he wants to control her life?
Yeah, good point. And that plays into those societal biases, right?
Mhm.
Against older women who, dare to have these passionate relationships, like it's somehow wrong or inappropriate.
Right, exactly. And the reaction video really emphasized that, too. They were suggesting that maybe it's less about genuine concern and more about, like, what he thinks society expects of his mother.
It makes you think, who gets to decide what's okay in a relationship? And then there's Elia himself. Is he actually in love with Gabriella, or is this whole thing some kind of scheme?
It's the big question, isn't it?
Totally. The reaction video gets into his backstory a bit. Apparently, he's got some financial troubles. There's a missing business partner. And get this, a pregnant ex-girlfriend shows up at the hotel.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, definitely adds to the whole deceitful aspect. And the reaction video actually mentioned this specific thing, $150,000 row.
Yeah.
Money that Elia supposedly owed, but it never got where it was supposed to go.
Okay, so there are some serious red flags popping up. Makes you wonder if the title Deceitful Love is only about Elia potentially manipulating Gabriella, or if it's also about...
If she's deceiving herself, maybe.
Exactly. Maybe she's choosing to ignore these pretty obvious signs because she wants something more from her life.
And I thought it was interesting how the reaction video highlighted that, Gabriella chooses to accept love that could be based on lies instead of a life that feels, I don't know, safe but unfulfilling.
That's a really interesting point. It says a lot about how we view desire, especially for women who are considered past their prime. Like, why should passion and romance be off limits for Gabriella? What does that say about our expectations as a society?
It's almost as if she's rebelling against those constraints,
Yeah.
like those societal expectations. She's going for it, taking the risk, even if it means getting hurt.
And the reaction video picks up on that, too. They talk about this scene in the courtroom. It's a really powerful moment. Gabriella is actually defending Elia, even after she finds out about his, shady past.
Oh, wow. So she's really standing by him.
Yeah. She basically tells the court she's choosing to believe in their love, no matter what. That's a pretty bold move. I mean, her family's against it. Society's judging her. It makes you wonder, is she trying to prove something to the court? Or is it more about, like, taking control of her own life, her own happiness?
It does feel like she's reclaiming her own story, doesn't it? Not letting anyone else tell her how to live.
Right. And the reaction video interpreted it as, like, this huge statement, not just to the court, but to everyone.
And what's interesting? Our sources are kind of split on whether the show is, like, on Gabriella's side or if it's more of a warning.
Oh, how so?
Well, some of the reviews, they praise her for going against the grain, choosing love. But then others, they see it as maybe a dangerous path.
So they're not giving us a clear answer.
Right. It's open to interpretation, makes us think about our own biases and ideas about love and age.
Exactly. It makes you question, is there even a right way to experience love? And should age really matter that much?
The reaction video also brought up something else I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
How they portray Elia.
Yeah, he's definitely charming. I mean, Giacomo Gianniotti, the actor, he's pretty easy on the eyes. But the sources, they get into the complexities of his character.
Right. It's not as straightforward as him just being a typical gold digger.
Yeah. He's got his own issues. Like, there's this whole thing about his business partner who disappeared. Makes you wonder if Elia had something to do with it.
Adds a whole other level of mystery, right?
Ugh.
And then there's Marina, the pregnant ex, just throws a whole bunch more emotional drama into the mix.
Almost like the show's throwing these obstacles at them on purpose, making them face all these challenges.
Makes you think, is Deceitful Love a story about, like, fighting for love no matter what, overcoming everything? Or is it more about the dangers of ignoring those red flags, getting caught up in all the lies?
It's playing with both sides, isn't it? Keeps us guessing. So what about the ending? What did our sources say about how it all wraps up?
Well, luckily they don't actually spoil it, but they do highlight how the show doesn't shy away from, like, the power dynamics in the relationship.
Okay, I see what you mean. Even though Gabriella's got the money, she's still, in a way, vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. The reaction video talked about how she's really craving connection, something she's not getting from her kids, her ex-husband.
Right.
Which makes her, I guess, more open to Elia's, attention.
So it's more than just an older woman, younger man thing. It's about her wanting something more out of life, something society says she shouldn't want at her age.
So you've got this mix of genuine feelings and maybe some manipulation going on. Makes you ask, can love really overcome anything? Or are some things just too much to forgive?
And that's what's so clever about Deceitful Love, I think. It doesn't try to tell you what to think. It just leaves you with those questions,
Yeah.
about love, aging, the choices we make for happiness.
So for our listeners who are, totally hooked on this show, what's the takeaway? What should they be paying attention to?
Well, I think Deceitful Love really gets you thinking about stuff that, we all deal with. Love, desire, what society expects from us, and having the guts to defy those expectations.
Yeah. It also makes you question your own biases, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if someone you knew made a choice like Gabriella's? Would you support them? Or try to stop them like Stefano? Yeah, it really makes you think, like, are we putting limits on people just because of, what society says is normal? Or can we be open to love and happiness even if it shows up in ways we don't expect?
Exactly. It challenges us to really look at our own beliefs about all that.
Oh, and you know what the reaction video mentioned? Apparently, the Amalfi Coast is, like, insanely beautiful in this show. They were saying, even if you don't care about the romance part, the scenery alone might be worth watching for.
Yeah, I can see that. Sounds like there's something for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're into the drama, the characters, the twists, or just, some gorgeous views.
Totally. Definitely seems like a show that gets people talking and thinking. So, as we wrap up our deep dive here, any final thoughts for our listeners?
I'd say go into Deceitful Love with an open mind. Really pay attention to the characters, why they do what they do, the choices they make. Don't be afraid to, question your own ideas about love, age, all that. And most importantly, just let yourself get pulled into the story, the beauty of it all, those messy human connections.
Well said. And hey, who knows? Maybe this deep dive will inspire you to plan your own Amalfi Coast trip, even if it's just to enjoy the view and ponder the mysteries of Deceitful Love from a safe distance.